Now, my story is kind of an interesting one because my power outlet stopped working on my 2014 Prius, and it's in between the consoles, and I'll show you that in a minute. Now, what happens is that I want that to charge up my phones and my tablets and all this other stuff because we like to take little road trips. And, it's just an extra power outlet, and you need it. There's only one power outlet or a cigarette lighter on the dashboard, and so this extra one really comes in handy. But it didn't work. So the first thing I did was I checked the fuse. Now, the fuse box, I mean, you need to be like a 2-foot tall monkey to work underneath there. I'm a big guy, and it was hard. I mean, I got lousy eyesight to begin with. I'm wearing glasses, and I'm trying to sit outside the car and bend over backwards and get underneath the steering wheel. And you pull this little box off, and I'll show it to you in a minute. And the box had a blown 10 amp fuse. It was harder to pull a fuse out and put the fuse back in than anything else. It's just because there's just not a lot of the trick to working with the fuse box on the Prius, by the way. Pull the seat all the way back and push the parking brake down as far as you can go and just hold it there. That gets out of the way. That gives you a little more breathing room to work on the fuse box, which is a miniature little thing. And don't lose the cover because the cover has all the places where the 10 amp fuse goes. So I bought a new 10 amp fuse, stuck it in there, and guess what? It didn't work. So I thought, okay, there's something wrong with this. This, I guess they call this thing a, I don't know. What do they call this thing? There's an adapter. It's the cigarette lighter power adapter or something like that. And it's a messy little thing. And but if you can get it out to this point, all right, it starts to get easier. Now, what happened with me is I actually this metal part comes out. This little black thing on the outside. If you press these little guys down, you can see there's one on each side here. That little guy right there. This whole black thing will come out with this piece. All right, you need to kind of wiggle the plug off. It's not too hard to do. There's a little, little thumb thing there that you can pull the plug out. And I pulled the plug out of the USB adapter too, so I could get this whole thing out of there. And I'll show you how to do that too. Now, to be able to get the power outlet out, I had to, there's a little thing inside here where you push it in, and I kept pushing it in. It wasn't enough, so I tried prying it from the outside, and I broke a little piece of plastic off. And so what I did was I used epoxy glue, 2-part epoxy glue, and I put a little bit right here. Okay, this thing will twirl around, but I have it in this position, and that's so that when you pull it out, you don't pull the plastic thing out with it, the metal part. And so I'm pretty confident that two-part epoxy, by the way, it's a thermosetting, which means heat won't really have that much of an effect on it. All the plastic parts around this thing are thermosetting, which means they'll melt. So the glue is actually more heat resistant than the plastic parts all around it. So this is my 2-part epoxy. I just bought this 6-minute stuff here. I had that. My wife had that. And it worked fine. Just a couple drops of each. You mix them together with a paintbrush, and I just put them in right here where this little spot is between the white here and there, and it takes about 5-10 minutes to dry. And I'm going to show you how to put it back in and take it back out. Now, the good news is, the bad news is that part is $45 from a Toyota dealer. You can buy them online for $17 or $20. But there was nothing wrong with it. When you pull these out, you can troubleshoot them very easily. You just use a continuity tester. There's just 2 poles inside here on that plug. You just take your little continuity tester here, all right, and you touch one pole, and then you go inside and you touch the center pole. And if it conducts electricity, there's nothing wrong with it. And then you take the other pole and you check the ring, because that's the ground side. And so if that's got continuity, there is nothing wrong here. So I saved myself $50. I probably saved myself $250 because that's how much Toyota would have charged me. Here's what my problem was, okay? That fuse box is so small that there's a place right next to where my fuses are for spare fuses. And when I put the little 10 amp fuse in, I put it in the wrong slot. It was in the slot next to the slot that it needed to be in. And I never realized it. until I got through with all this silliness. And so when I checked the continuity on this thing and it was okay, I then went back to the fuse box, and lo and behold, when I looked at it really closely, I pulled the 10 amp fuse out, put it one notch over. It's really tiny, so it's pretty easy to make a mistake because you're upside down backwards and you can hardly see anything. And when I put it back in, voila, it started to work. So now I'm going to reassemble this so that those of you who have to replace this part can buy one on the internet for, 15, 20 bucks, or and you save yourself some money. And you can take it apart yourself. It's pretty easy. It all snaps together. So I will show you. Okay, this is the center console to the Prius 2014, all right? And there's the center box. That gray box right there is one I'm going to take out with no tools, all right? And I'll show you just how to do that on here. Okay, here we go. Now, if you look inside here, you'll see the power outlet. That's the one that doesn't work, all right? All right, and here we go. I need to get at this thing, so move your camera away and show on this thing here. Can you see my hands?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of squeeze it together a little bit and wiggle it and pull gently, and look at it, pops right out. So now shine down there. Now, what you see here, okay, what you see here is a little, this is the power outlet, this is the USB outlet, right? And they both are connected to a 10 amp plug. And if you look down in here, let me see if I can get the flashlight on. If you look down in here, you can see there's the plug, there's the power outlet, okay? Now this whole front piece here, okay, snaps off, all right? So what you do is you push from behind here, and you gently push on the top. And when you do, guess what happens? There, pops out. And then you lift it up, and out you go. Now you can pull the plug out of the back of the cigarette lighter, and pull the plug out of the back of the USB outlet, and then you can work on these on your desk, and you can fiddle around and get this thing out. All right. So again, so here we go. I'm gonna put this. Okay, if you look at the bottom here, there's two little dealies here. Okay, and they're going to get tucked into the bottom, like that. Okay. You're going to get, let's see, fumbling around with one hand holding the flashlight, and then it snaps the top. Snap, snap, done. Now hold on to this thing here. And I will take this piece. Again, here, show this piece here. There's the four little guys, right? And they're going to go right in each slot here. And you're going to very gently kind of snap it in. Done. So we are done. And that closes back up. And you've got it, and that closes up, and then we're there. Thank you very much. Well, we can get to work.